SEC, and I think a lot of us are certainly enamored with the state of Alabama. The SEC is the league that's getting all the accolades, and everybody's talking about the depth and the amount of bids and the seeding. You look at the Big Ten right now. I asked this question the other day on the field of 68. I said, of the teams in this league, and this was fresh off of Purdue's loss to Ohio State, is there anyone you trust at all to get to San Antonio? And there was nobody that really stood out, right? There's not a team that stands out. Maybe it's Michigan State, maybe whoever, but it's not like, man, it's, San Antonio or bust for a team in the Big Ten. Michigan State is the team that's been perfect. They haven't had any hiccups. Michigan right behind them at 6-1. Michigan State, both sides of the ball are delivering until proven otherwise with Jaden Atkins and what they've done. The backcourt, Jeremy Fears. I've got to say it's Michigan State, and I freaking love it. I really do. I mean, Tom Izzo is a guy who's been in this game forever. We've seen all our heroes go. We've seen them all go. Krzyzewski hung it up. Roy hung it up. Tony Bennett said, I can't do this crap anymore. Jay Wright, all the guys that we love said this game changed too much. It's insanity. I'm not doing it. Meanwhile, who the hell's number one in the Big Ten? It's Izzo. It's Mr. March. It's the greatest damn thing to see. I'm riding with it. I hope it stays. Jarrell McNeil, who you got winning the Big Ten on January 23rd?
Well, I think the clear front runner has to be Michigan State as well. But let me be clear about this. I also just have to state the true feeling behind it is that Illinois is the best team in the Big Ten. Illinois is the best team in the Big Ten.
So is that your dark horse? Is that
even,
the
and I wouldn't even say that
team
because
to watch?
I had Michigan as my team to watch. I don't know if that's a good team to watch. Because I think they're like, they'll be in the mix. They'll be able to catch Michigan State and put some pressure on them for a Big Ten championship. But I'm not so sure, RC, that Michigan State isn't going to catch a couple bumps in the road before this thing is said and done. If I had to guess, I would think whoever wins the conference still ends up with about maybe 4 losses. So would it completely put Illinois out of the mix? No, but it puts them in a tough spot. But either way, I don't know if they'll win. I don't think they'll win it now with them digging themselves a hole like that. But they are, in my opinion, still the best and most complete team, I feel like, in the Big Ten.
But you got Michigan State winning it, right?
I think
I
it's
still
Michigan
got Michigan
State.
State taking it.
I think it's Michigan State too, and for a ton of different reasons. One, I love their improvement and what they look like. I mean, we were down at the I said this to Rob as well. We were down at the Champions Classic, and we were all watching the game going like, oh my God, we about to fall asleep. I thought this was going to be another year of brutal shooting, and it's like they playing football, basketball, just a physical group, can't throw it in the ocean. And this team has been fun to watch. They're playing with pace. They're sharing the ball. They're coming at you different ways. You're right. Michigan State, conference play is conference play no matter what league you're going to play. You're going to take some bumps. They're not Duke. They're not what I think Duke is doing to what will be in the ACC. I don't think Duke will lose any more than 2 games at the max. And that'll be like a Vegas bet should be if they lose 2 games. I think Michigan State can drop a couple of games, but I think they go to Rutgers next. That's a difficult place to play. I think they get that win. They play Minnesota after that, and then they play USC. I think those 3 are winnable games. And again, at that point, when you spotted them a couple of games for teams like Illinois who are 4 games out, they win the next 3. Now we're down to single digits in conference play games. Now we're into February. I don't think any of those teams at that point could catch them. I think the only team that's close that has a chance is like Michigan. Maybe Purdue just dropped one. I think they bought themselves some leeway. If they don't let their foot off the gas, and that's what I think make Tom Izzo so great. He's not going to have that. He's not going to settle for that. These guys, with the way that they play, the way that he coaches, I've been on record. He's my favorite coach. I'm glad that this is happening for him so late in his career, because with the lack of success recently, people were starting to, to have some conversations about is it time, and obviously what he's doing, he's proving those guys wrong. So credit to him, to his team. They're winning his way. I think they win the next couple of games. They'll have an upset. They just those things happen, but they're taking care of business, and I think I expect them that lead to extend. If they can win the next 3, what would that lead look like?
It's a cool race in the Big Ten right now, and I still agree with Jarrell that Illinois is the best team, and I think they're the one that goes the furthest in the NCAA tournament, as long as they're healthy. I mean, as long as the flu doesn't happen and the young Lithuanian doesn't get into foul trouble and he's healthy, they're damn good. They're absolutely the most talented.
I'll say this and we move
ahead.
on. I'll say this before we move on. I agree with
Yeah.
you guys, and I've been on record saying Illinois is the most talented team. But also, when we start talking about, there's a lot of inexperience on this team when it comes to tournament time too. So they're relying on a lot of young guys in the big dance that hadn't been there as well. So that's when when Boswell and all those other guys got to step up and be a bigger factor than they are right now. But Illinois is relying on a lot of young guys to make a deep run, and that's not a recipe for a long run for success in the tournament, in my opinion.
I agree completely, and I think they're a question mark if they not hitting the 3 ball, if they not shooting the ball well from the perimeter, or they're kind of like a target score team, like, you know what I mean? Like they need to hit about 80 points to ensure that they got a chance to win the game. On a night-to-night basis, it's not always that don't always lead to success, especially in March. Just because different types of games, different styles. You just run into a lot of different changes and styles of play and stuff like that. So I'm not saying that I'm sure they're gonna make a deep run either, but I do think they're the best team in the Big Ten.